So we have a biprism here and another slab here, and between we have filled a liquid. The parallel rays fall on this system, and because of that, interference is observed on this screen. So again, we have a glass biprism here, and the angle of this prism is theta, and the refractive index of glass is n. Then we have a liquid filled which has a refractive index n dash. Then we again have the glass slab, and these parallel rays that will be bent in different ways because of the top half and the bottom half, and because of that angle between the two rays, interference will be observed on this screen. So what we are given is lambda, we are given theta, this angle of the biprism, we are given n, and we are given n dash. We need to find the width of a fringe on the screen. So let's take one ray and follow it. So it goes straight. As long as it's in glass, it will go straight. Then here we have a surface. So the refractive index of glass is more than this liquid. So it will bend away from the normal. So in this case, this is the interface of the two mediums. So this is the normal. So it will bend away from the normal. Then here, again, this is liquid and this is air. So I have just separated this glass slab a little bit. So we can do that. So eventually it does not matter. So here it is air. So again, it will bend away from the screen. Sorry, away from the normal. So let's say that is at an angle alpha, and then it hits the glass slab. Now we know that if on the left and the right side of this glass slab the refractive index is same. So in this case it is air here and it is air here. So there will be a little bit of deviation, but overall the angle will not change. So if it is striking the slab at an angle alpha, it will move out of slab also at an angle alpha. So that is why we have separated this slab, so we don't have to worry about. So if we in this case we would have to worry about what will be the angle here, and then again we will have to calculate the angle when the light leaves this slab. But when we separate the slab, we don't need to worry about the angle anymore. See why we are bothering about the angles, because we know that if we know the angle between the two rays which are coming from the top and the bottom half, then we can directly calculate the fringe width by our formula lambda upon that angle. So we have derived this in problem 5.70 also. So that's why we are bothering about the angle between the two rays, and to simplify finding the angle, we have separated this slab a little bit. So we need to find 2 alpha, or we need to find alpha. So let's say this is alpha which we need to find, and let's say this is gamma, and if this is gamma, this total angle is r, let's see, refracted angle, and this is the incident angle theta. So why this theta? Because you can see in this triangle, so the prism angle is theta. So this angle is 90 minus theta, so this is again theta. So this is the incident angle theta, this refracted angle r, then this gamma, this alpha. Alright. And this is given as n, this is given as n dash. So let's start with what we need to find. We need to find fringe width, that is lambda by 2 alpha. So how do we find 2 alpha? So on this interface, we'll write Snell's law. So n dash sine gamma is equal to 1 sine alpha, because this is air. N dash sine gamma is equal to 1 sine alpha. So we got alpha in terms of gamma. Now we need to know gamma. So again, we'll talk about this interface. So gamma is r minus theta, right? Gamma is r minus theta. So to find r and theta, only theta is given to us, r is not given. So we'll try to find gamma in terms of theta. So on the surface, n sine theta is equal to n dash sine r, which r we can write as theta plus gamma, because gamma is r minus theta. So from here we'll get the value of gamma. So we'll put the value of gamma here. And when we do that, we'll get alpha. So we'll put the value of alpha here and we'll get our eventual answer. Delta x equal to lambda by 2 times this or this, our final answer. All right.